Welcome to our video series on improving your copywriting. In this video, we'll look at adding a trial offer to your copy. In this video, I'm going to talk through one of the most powerful ways that can increase your sales. And I would say that perhaps one downside of this is that it may need slightly more customer support work, because while you'll have more customers, a percentage of them won't be particularly serious. So that will become clear in just a moment as to why that is. But if you're happy to put up with that, basically doing what I'll describe will make you more money in every case quite easily. Basically, what I'm going to talk through is a trial. Whatever you're offering, make it available on a trial basis. And the more risk-free the trial, the better you'll do generally. In the first part of this video, I'll walk through how to actually structure a trial, how and why it works, and what's involved. And in the second part, I'll start talking you through elements of copy you can use to create your own trial. Okay, I have three examples here. The first example is a membership site, and on the front page is a bold headline that you can't miss. Free, TOC, and that stands for Theory of Constraint, which is a strategic management theory. Free TOC workshop videos reveal how to leverage the power of, and so on. And then there's a lot of copy here. We'll walk through this in just a moment. And a very clear order link. Click here to get your free membership now. Membership has its advantages. And actually what they do here, but I don't want to get too sidetracked. This is important to mention too, and actually let's just check out the whole page. Okay, two offers. But here there's an immediate upsell, and an upsell is where just as your customer, or rather your visitor, since they aren't yet your customer at that point, just as your prospect is about to order on the order page, they're presented with another option, a deluxe option, so to speak. That's because when they get to the order page and are about to order, even if it's offline, they're in a certain frame of mind, and it just takes a little bit of a nudge to convince them to spend a bit more money. Of course, only a percentage of people are going to take the offer. It's unlikely to be 100%, but it could be surprising. It could be as little as 10% perhaps, or maybe up to 50%. And this one is quite an easy upsell. It's not too much of a jump, and the one that's chosen by default is the upsell option. If I actually just want the free option, I have to click here. So, okay, the main offer is I'll take the free 7-day membership with no cost or obligation. The immediate upsell is I really want the silver membership, only $19.95 per month. And for that small amount, they get all this, all of it over and above the free offer. So really, if someone's visiting and they're serious, it would be very difficult to refuse. It would be quite difficult to refuse the upsell, because it's a very strong offer and it's very inexpensive actually. So what you've done at each stage, if we go back to the home page, the first offer you're making is pretty much entirely risk-free. So it's very difficult for interested people to refuse. So at each step of the ordering process, you want to make it as risk-free and irresistible as possible. So see, that's an irresistible offer. Free, no obligation. You don't need to put in your payment details or anything. And then here, the immediate upsell, very risk-free again, only $20 per month. So those are the two elements here that are really working. A very much risk-free offer, and then an immediate upsell before ordering. And you can take it even further with upsells. For example, as soon as your customer has ordered and they're taken to the Thank You for Ordering page, you can then upsell them again. Let's say here, for example. I haven't been through the entire ordering process, but let's say I take the silver membership. And whenever you're making an offer, it's good to have multiple levels. For example, the regular, the deluxe, the super deluxe, or whatever you want to call it, the silver, the gold, platinum, whatever you want to call it. So let's say I took the silver offer here, and after my order's gone through, I'm sent to the thank you page, and I could be presented with an exclusive one-time offer only for new members to upgrade to gold. And let's say gold membership is $97 a month. But as a one-time offer as a new customer, I could be presented with gold membership for only $47 a month, for example. And actually, as another thought, you could even make this even more risk-free by, instead of going from free membership immediately to a paid membership, you could go from free membership to 30 days free, then $19.95, for example. Of course, the more risk-free it is, the longer it takes before you make any money. So you have to balance those two things. Generally, the more risk-free it is, the more money you'll make. But if you're going to offer a 180-day free trial, it's going to be hard to run your business. On the other hand, if you leave it too long, people might even forget what they've signed up for. So when people are billed 6 months later, they could be quite upset. But that said, in my experience, people, or a percentage of people, always seem to forget when they sign up for something with recurring billing. So it doesn't matter what you do, you'll always get a certain level of complaints, even if it's very small. But that's just the nature of delayed billing in my experience. And actually, just as a side note related to that, I find you have far fewer complaints if you send something physical, whereas with recurring billing, where it's purely digital, because it's online and they aren't really getting anything physical, I find there are more complaints that way. Whereas if something's actually physically shipped to them, and especially if you get a signature so there's proof of delivery, then you get far fewer complaints because they actually have something tangible in their hands. And also, with a signature, you can challenge any chargebacks because there's proof that they actually ordered it and received it. I do sometimes forget for a few months what I've ordered, for example. I try to check my credit card statement every month, but sometimes you sign up for something and you forget for a few months, and then you may check it out a few months later. So because of that, because it's easy to forget when you're in recurring billing, you'll find that you have fewer complaints with physical products. However, there is more work associated with physical products, so you have to balance that. Okay, I've actually just brought up another quick example which works very well. So let's take a look at the ordering page. Scroll down and take a look. And okay, here there's an immediate upsell, or really there's an offer for several versions. So there's Digital Basic, and interestingly the middle option is selected by default. Digital Basic is $49, with the expanded version with bonus audio seminars at $97, or the deluxe hard copy at $197. It's often said, and this is apparently why charities often give 3 options when asking for a contribution, that generally when 3 options are offered, the one most often picked is the middle one. So if you want people to pick the middle option, then create 2 options around it. One lower option and one higher, more expensive option. Now, I can say from experience that that isn't always the case. I've done enough where there are 3 options, and actually the lowest priced option and the highest priced option have been pretty much tied, and the middle option was largely ignored. But I think my case might be the exception rather than the rule, so that's something else to keep in mind. Okay, here's another option. This is an offer for a monthly newsletter, and there's often quite a lot of resistance, especially if the visitor or the person reading the offer doesn't know you, or especially if they aren't a previous customer. There's a lot more resistance when they're signing up to a recurring billing offer because they're worried about, can I cancel? Is it going to be difficult to cancel? Am I locked in for a period of time, or can I cancel at any time? So you really have to reassure people that it is indeed very easy to cancel, and there's no obligation, and so on. That's good to do in the main copy, and also especially at the ordering stage. And because of that resistance, trial offers are often done for anything that's billed on a recurring basis, specifically a monthly recurring basis. And there are different ways you can do this. You can make a huge offer on the first month. So let's say it's $29.95 a month, but on the first month they get $200 worth of value. So really, you're bribing them to take the risk. Or you can make the first month or even the first 3 months very low priced, for example. I've often seen, let's say it's $50 a month for a newsletter. So the first month is $50, but for those $50, they get a big bundle of stuff and they get 3 months free to the newsletter. Then after 3 months, they're billed $50 a month until they cancel. So that's another way to do it. But here, they've chosen to go with an entirely free first month. So there's really no obligation and really no risk at all, apart from the fact that people may be concerned about how to cancel. So again, you have to reassure them about that. But that's a very good way to overcome resistance. And of course, with a trial, a 60-day trial is probably going to convert a lot better than a 30-day trial. But how long do you want cash out of your pocket for? Here, it's a physical newsletter, so it's costing the publisher money every month while they aren't receiving money from their customer. But again, if you're willing to take all that on, generally with such trials, you're going to end up with a lot more money overall than if you didn't offer a trial. Again, this is from my experience. I ran a private membership site for several years, and it was $29.95 a month. And I tested $29.95 immediately and also every month. And I also tested $2.95 for the first month and then $29.95 monthly thereafter. And basically, the trial converted around 400% better than the non-trial offer. And even though there were more dropouts, I had more dropouts during the trial period, but overall I ended up with about twice as many subscribers. So it's slightly more of a headache, but you generally do a lot better overall. Actually, this is a side note. It's not something I'm experienced in, and I haven't really tried it yet, but it's also suggested, and you may wish to try it, it's often suggested that one way to improve your copy is to get live help installed. And there are a number of services that you can easily implement into your website. You don't have to run it all the time either. You can run it from time to time, and that can potentially, and this is separate from emails you get from prospects and customers and so on, but it can help you understand the questions your visitors have a lot better. Then you can implement that feedback into your copy, and that feedback will make your copy a lot stronger because you're finding out exactly what the concerns, desires, and apprehensions your visitors have right as they're visiting your site. Okay, a further example. This example is from a very successful internet publishing company, and this is their main internet marketing success course. And actually, I'm going to the top of the offer, the top of the page, in a moment. But first, I've gone to the middle here because they've actually buried the actual price of the course. It's actually buried here and difficult to find because they're really pushing what you pay for the trial. I'll come to that in a moment, but here it says, so after 30 days, you'll happily hand over $214.05 to keep the program. So that's what the customer pays in 30 days if they choose to keep it. If they don't choose to keep it and don't want to be billed, the customer has to return it within the trial period. And again, the longer the trial period, the less likely it is that the customer will send it back because they'll feel less under pressure. And chances are that they'll forget about it and then they'll just be billed. If you're familiar with Nightingale Conant, which is a very long-running publisher in selling publications to help you be successful, what they generally do is a 30-day free trial with no money up front at all. That's obviously pretty risky, and they generally do it by direct mail. You receive a letter, obviously addressed directly to you, and the order form has your name and address on it, and you send back the order form, no money or anything, and you get the course back, and you have 30 days to try the course. And if you keep the course, After 30 days, you have to pay. There's no recurring billing or anything. So in a way, Nightingale Conant is in the debt collection business because they have to chase after people to get payment. But obviously, it's very, very risk-free for the customer to just send an order form with no money at all. So that's why Nightingale Conant have done it that way for so many years. But it's slightly riskier, and you have to decide whether you want to chase people down for money. Obviously, that's very difficult to do over the internet, and really that's also difficult to do outside of your country unless you're prepared to pay legal expenses in whichever country you're marketing to. So, for example, if you're in the United States and you're marketing to the U.S., then it's one thing to chase down customers who haven't paid, but if you're making the same offer internationally, it's going to be very difficult to keep chasing down customers in Australia, for example, without having legal representation in Australia, and so on. So it's just something to think about if you're going to go down that route. Okay, let's just go to the top of the page and let's just see the offer summarized. And that's basically it. Just below the headline, and yes, I'm going to let you try the brand new just released 2008 edition of this #1 rated program for a measly investment of just $2.95. Actually, this is another side note. I don't want to get too sidetracked in this video, but from my experience, there's very little monetary difference between $1 and $2.95. But I find the quality of customer you get with a $2.95 offer is vastly better and more serious than the quality of the customer you get with a $1 offer. I've found that with a $1 trial offer, you get a lot more problems, customer service problems, than with a $2.95 offer. Again, there isn't much monetary difference, but it seems that psychologically, it's quite a bit different paying $2.95 as opposed to $1. And I've even noticed there's a big difference in the conversion of the offer, how well the offer converted. But I would suggest that $1 offers, I find them quite problematic. So $2.95 does seem to work quite well. Okay, let's jump down to the bottom. And yes, the $2.95 offer is really mentioned again and again and again throughout the copy. So that's really one of the main selling points here. So let's look at the order page. Okay, here's the order page, and here on the order page, they mention again and again the 30-day trial. And they're doing an immediate upsell. And they offer a wide variety of payment options, more than most companies. Order by credit card, or order by phone, or they will even call you. And then here's the immediate upsell, and it's selected by default. Yes, I want to claim my discount. Please upgrade my 30-day $2.95 trial and ship me, and so forth. Basically, the upsell is don't take the trial now, and instead of the trial, pay in full now. But if you pay in full now, you actually get a discount on the usual price, and you get access to another service of theirs for free for 60 days. So that's how they're trying to get the full payment effectively immediately. So even though they've advertised the trial on the order page, they're going to pull a certain percentage of the visitors out of the trial and back into the full offer. So that can work very well, because it makes your main offer very strong because you're offering a trial, but then on the order page, you're actually pulling a number of those customers back into the full payment. As the saying goes, you're ethically bribing them to take the full offer now by offering them a very valuable bonus and a discount. Or if they want, they can just have the trial. And actually, if we scroll past the details here, actually I was going to show you more upsells, but just before we get there, just below the order form, you see they specify the shipping for different countries. So even though it's a $2.95 offer, it's important to state if you were to do this, that with the shipping it comes to X amount total. For example, going to Canada, basically it would be $45 total, and then about $200 or so in addition in about 30 days. Okay, here, below the order form on the same page, are more immediate upsells. You also qualify for another $2.95 trial membership. Let's take a look. And you see that with upsells, you need a lot less copy because people are in the buying frame of mind. So rather than an entire page of copy, you just get a small amount here compared to the full page that generally sells this offer. And that's all that's needed for the upsell. So here, okay, check this box to include a 30-day $2.95 trial membership for the newsletter. You'll be charged $2.95 today, and after the 30-day trial, it will be $17 a month. And they say cancel anytime. That's important. No obligation, easy to cancel by simply emailing. So all it takes, the easier it is to upsell, the more likely it is that your customers will do it. And all it takes is a tick. And then there's another offer. You know, you have their attention, so why not make them a number of upsell offers? Okay, let's scroll down. And again, not a lot of copy compared to the actual web page this offer comes from. And again, just $2.95 for a 30-day trial, and then $27 a month if they don't cancel. And okay, that's all the offers for now, and order. So that's a detailed description of how you can implement trials and why implementing trials into your business can be hugely beneficial and in fact very easy. And actually, regarding the copy, one of the best things to do, in fact, is just to look at lots of offers like this. Print them out. Understand how they're structured, the tone of them, how they're written, what's emphasized, and so forth. Then you can use them as templates for the order page for your own trials. Of course, don't copy outright, but this is important research. You're looking at what other people are doing, and you're learning from that, and you're implementing the success tactic into your own business. The examples I've shown you all come from experienced marketers, and if they're doing something for a period of time, unless they aren't paying attention to it, chances are it's working. So it's worth paying attention to what experienced marketers, experienced business people do consistently in their business, and learn from it for your own business. And trial periods and upsells on the order page can consistently work well and consistently put a lot more money into your pocket.